Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Table Talk. I'm your host, Jake Combs, and tonight we are going to be looking at some of the latest Warcry models. I know recently we actually published our video for the Heart of Gur box set. This is the first official warband that you can get after the Heart of Gur. The Chaos Legionaries, now based on some of the lore that they've posted on the community site, they're essentially legions of Be'lakor, but obviously, you can make them to be, whatever followers you want, because at the end of the day, it's your hobby. And then we also got the Centaurion Marshal. Now, these items are available for pre-order as of today's date, at least the date that this video goes live. These items were sent to us ahead of time by Games Workshop for the purpose of this video today. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I've already taken the wrap off. Just like the Heart of Gur video, we'd actually already filmed a previous video using these items, and it was actually filmed at the same time as that box originally, and then we had to refilm it because of the new embargo date for everything. And so instead of cutting the video up and having it be disjointed, we decided to go ahead and just refilm them. The nice thing is that since the first filming, we didn't have much information to go on when we did the unboxings, and so there wasn't really much to talk about other than just what we were seeing in the moment. But with the changes and some of the articles that they've released, they've given us a little bit more detail on them. So we're ready to go and get started. All right. So with the Legionnaires box set, we have 2 bags of bases. So it's a total of 10 bases anyway. On the front, it says 8 miniatures, and on the back, it shows 8 miniatures as well. So it looks like we get a couple extra bases in there. We have our stat cards and our ability cards. As always, they do come with the multiple languages. And now on the front of the card, we do have our reaction ability. So with the Legionaries, their reaction is called to arms. A fighter can make this reaction when an enemy fighter ends their move action visible to this fighter, and within 3 inches of this fighter, pick another friendly fighter within the 3 inches of this fighter, and that fighter makes a bonus move action. So basically, you can almost like you can have a domino effect of different models being able to move without even being activated. So that's actually pretty cool. And then, like I said, as always, we have different languages. Spanish, English, looks like Chinese. I do see the Cyrillic alphabet, so I'm guessing Russian or some similar aspect. But they definitely have some cool abilities. We're not going to go through all of them, but let's look at the one of the doubles in the quad. So one of the doubles, we're going to look at Dark Pact. Pick a visible enemy fighter within 12 inches. Roll a number of dice equal to the value of this ability. For each 3+, allocate 1 damage point to that fighter. After all of the dice have been rolled, allocate D3 damage points to this fighter. So basically, you're going to get D3, damage points to that fighter. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. It's the way I'm reading it is basically you're hurting your opponent, but at the same time you're hurting yourself to do so. And then with the quad, Wrath of the First Prince, this fighter makes a bonus action or a bonus attack action. In addition, a number of hits scored by that attack action equal to half the value of this ability, rounding up, become critical hits instead. For example, if the value of this ability was 6, 3 hits scored by that attack action would become critical hits instead. So some cool stuff there. And then we have the actual cards for the different models, plus our activation cards. All right, and then we have our 2 sprues, and then our assembly guide, which actually has a lot of pages. Now there are, it looks like 3 models that each have 3 variations, and then looks like 3 models with 2 variations. So that means if you are like myself and you want to be able to have 1 of each variation, then it's going to require you buying 3 of this box set in order to do so. The alternative would be, of course, magnetizing the pieces and painting them all individually, separate from each other, and then swapping them out based on the list you're making at that time. Excuse me. But me personally, I would rather have more models. And that way you have the variation, they're already done, they're secure, you're not worried about what happens if someone knocks the arm off and you lose it, now you're missing one of the weapons type things. That's my biggest complaint about magnetizing. Now, as far as the sprues go, we have a good amount of detail. Now, other than kind of being thinner as far as the body types of these models compared to the iron golems, I mean, for the most part, these guys very much remind me of the Spire Tyrants as far as their overall builds physically, and but with all of the armor and iron stuff that you have on them, very much reminds me of the iron golems. So visually, this group feels kind of like a cross between the two. They're just not as beefy as the iron golem, which in my mind is kind of the Warcry equivalent of the Goliath. Excuse me. From Necromunda. But some really cool stuff on here. I really like the look of the shields as well, especially the one for the leader, and a lot of really cool looking weapons, a lot of serrated edges. I mean, the attention to detail that the folks at GW give is fantastic. I mean, they almost spare no effort as far as making sure that everything looks as realistic as possible, without them painting it for you. But definitely some really cool stuff there. Oh, excuse me. At this point, I've been up for almost 24 hours straight, so I'm a little tired. All right, so the Centaurion, basically, he is a centaur that is also basically a big, I don't know if he's a leader that you can use, but he's definitely pretty cool. I really like the look of this model. I mean, he very much reminds me of kind of like a cross between like a dragon ogre and the what are they called? Warcry came out with one. Basically the guy that has the big shield and sword that you can bring into your team. I cannot remember what they're called. I want to say something like Myrmidon. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that. Either way, kind of looks like a cross between those two. I'm hoping you guys can fill in the blanks on your own and know exactly who I'm talking about. But definitely a really cool looking model. I love the detail. There's a lot of detail just in the muscle, the armor. It almost looks like they've painstakingly detailed like every little rivet and chain in the chainmail that he's wearing. Just a ton of detail in the helmet and the net that he's using, the demon belt that he's got on. Just so many things are detailed. I mean, these guys do not mess around when it comes to detailing the model and making sure that basically every angle is thought of when you put these together, and so that way every visible spot is going to be having some sort of detail there. And they just do a fantastic job. I love the look of these models. I'm really looking forward to actually getting these built and getting them into a game. The Centaurion, let's take a look at his card. He has his own ability cards as well. He's worth 295 points. Let's see. I'm not seeing the leader rune. Yeah, definitely not seeing the leader rune. But basically, it looks like any Chaos Warband can hire him to join them. But at 295 points, he's definitely coming in there a bit stronger than most others. And for his reaction, because I know reactions are really the big thing with the game with 2nd edition. So the reaction is Cruel Strike. A fighter can make this reaction when a visible enemy fighter within 1 inch of them makes a disengage action, but before that fighter moves away. Roll a dice. On a 2+, allocate d6 damage points to that enemy fighter. So basically, for that enemy fighter to break away and escape, you're going to have to deal with taking a pretty sizable hit for the Centaurion. I've got to slowly pronounce that out, or else I butcher it every time. But definitely a really cool model. Again, I'm really looking forward to build these. All right, so here's this Centaurion. So this is the kind of demon belt that I was talking about. And then here are the Legionnaires. The nice thing about the Legionnaires is they look like it's going to be a lot easier to kind of give them more dynamic poses, because it kind of looks like they're going back to like the old school style where you choose the position and how the arm is. Is it a mid swing? Is the weapon down by the side? Things like that. So a lot of cool stuff there. Definitely looking forward to building these guys. Thank you to Games Workshop for sharing these items with us. We really do appreciate it, and everything that they do for the channel. Thank you guys, as always, for watching the show. We really appreciate it. But stay tuned. There is more Warcry on the way. There is more Warhammer in general coming. So lots of great things coming up in the coming months. Can't wait to show all of them to you guys. Some of the items that we're filming have embargo dates up in towards the end of the year. We have some with embargo dates in next month, some this month. So we're filming everything as much as we can, but we're scheduling it out based on those embargo dates. But as soon as we're allowed to make these online, we will be sure to do that. So again, thank you guys for watching as always. I really do appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. That definitely will help us. I know that some of our fans have actually complained about how difficult the actual URL is to find us. And a big part of that is because we cannot do the custom URL until we actually reach 1,000 subscribers. So we've still got a bit of a ways to go there. But once we do, then we will get that custom URL in place. So if you guys could subscribe, we would really appreciate that. Help us get a little bit closer to that goal, so that way we can actually do that and make things a bit more convenient for all of you. So again, would really appreciate that, and thank you guys all for watching. You have a great night.